Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Bible in a Year. My name is Natalie, and today we are on day 316. I cannot believe it. We are going to be reading out of 1 Chronicles chapter 13, and then we're going to be starting the book of Amos today by reading Amos chapter 1, and then we'll close out our day with Revelation chapter 12. So let's go ahead and hop into 1 Chronicles chapter 13. Here we go. David consulted with the captains of thousands and of hundreds, even with every leader. David said to all the assembly of Israel, "If it seems good to you, and if it is of Yahweh our God, let's send word everywhere to our brothers who are left in all the land of Israel, with whom the priests and the Levites are in their cities that have pasture lands, that they may gather themselves to us. Also, let's bring back the ark of our God back to us again, for we didn't seek it in the days of Saul." All the assembly said that they would do so, for the thing was right in the eyes of all the people. So David assembled all Israel together from the Shihor River of Egypt even to the entrance of Hamath, to bring God's ark from Kiriath Jearim. David went up with all Israel to Bala, that is, to Kiriath Jearim, which belonged to Judah, to bring up from there God Yahweh's ark that sits above the cherubim, that is called by the name. They carried God's ark on a new cart and brought it out of Abinadab's house, and Uzzah and Ahio drove the cart. David and all Israel played before God with all their might, even with songs, with harps, with stringed instruments, with tambourines, with cymbals, and with trumpets. When they came to Chidon's threshing floor, Uzzah put out his hand to hold the ark, for the oxen had stumbled. Yahweh's anger burned against Uzzah, and he struck him because he put his hand on the ark, and he died there before God. David was displeased because Yahweh had broken out against Uzzah. He called that place Perez Uzzah to this day. David was afraid of God that day, saying, "How can I bring God's ark home to me?" So David didn't move the ark with him into David's city, but carried it aside into Obed-Edom, the Gittite's house. God's ark remained with the family of Obed-Edom in his house 3 months, and Yahweh blessed Obed-Edom's house and all that he had. That's it. I was ready to keep going. That chapter is pretty emotional because it starts off with this brilliant idea. Let's just see if we can put ourselves in real time in 2023. Have you ever had like this brilliant idea for the Lord? And I know I have. Let's pull it back to me. I don't want to point fingers. I have in the past had these brilliant ideas for the Lord. This is what I'm going to do. And then it never turns out. It never turns out what is in my mind. Sometimes it's better. Sometimes it just completely unravels and falls apart in my face. And then in the chapter, can you imagine the sound of all those instruments and singing with God's ark on the cart? Oh my gosh, that must have been beautiful. And then that poor guy, he's only trying to keep the ark from falling on the ground, and God says, "Hey, you touched that." So I can't wrap my head around that. I'm kind of with David on that one. Not up to me, though. Let's start Amos chapter 1. This is the book of Amos. Here we go. The words of Amos, who was among the herdsmen of Tekoa, which he saw concerning Israel in the days of Uzziah, king of Judah, and in the days of Jeroboam, the son of Joash, king of Israel, 2 years before the earthquake. He said, Yahweh will roar from Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the pastures of the shepherds will mourn, and the top of Carmel will wither. Yahweh says, for 3 transgressions of Damascus, yes, for 4, I will not turn away its punishment, because they have threshed Gilead with threshing instruments of iron. But I will send a fire into the house of Hazael, and it will devour the places of Ben-Hadad. I will break the bar of Damascus and cut off the inhabitant from the valley of Avon, and him who holds the scepter from the house of Eden, and the people of Syria shall go into captivity to Kir, says Yahweh. Yahweh says, for 3 transgressions of Gaza, yes, for 4, I will not turn away its punishment, because they carried away captive the whole community to deliver them up to Edom. But I will send a fire on the wall of Gaza, and it will devour its places. I will cut off the inhabitant from Ashdod, and him who holds the scepter from Ashkelon, and I will turn my hand against Ekron, and the remnant of the Philistines will perish, says the Lord Yahweh. Yahweh says, for 3 transgressions of Tyre, yes, for 4, I will not turn away its punishment, because they delivered up the whole community to Edom, and didn't remember the brotherly covenant. But I will send a fire on the wall of Tyre, and it will devour its places. Yahweh says, for 3 transgressions of Edom, yes, for 4, I will not turn away its punishment, because he pursued his brother with the sword and cast off all pity, and his anger raged continually, and he kept his wrath forever. But I will send a fire on Taman, and it will devour the places of Bozrah. Yahweh says, for 3 transgressions of the children of Ammon, yes, for 4, I will not turn away its punishment, because they have ripped open the pregnant women of Gilead, that they may enlarge their border. But I will kindle a fire in the wall of Rabbah, and it will devour its places, with shouting in the day of battle, with the storm in the day of the whirlwind, and their king will go into captivity, he and his princes together, says Yahweh. So while I was reading that, I couldn't help in my mind have the current events of 2023 and the war that is going on with Israel and Hamas, and how the Palestinians, the innocent Palestinians, are wrapped up in it. And all I can say is that this is not going to go well for Hamas and whoever decides to play around in this. We have seen it in the past. We have seen it, I think it was in the 90s. My memory's a little mushy, but I think it was in the 90s when territory was given over. And the leader ended up, I believe, having a stroke and dying. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. It's not going to end well. This Hamas really needs to check themselves and stop. That's all I'll say about that before I get a strike on the channel. All right, Revelation chapter 12. I'm just here to read. And sometimes my thoughts spill out my mouth. Okay, here we go. A great sign was seen in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and on her head a crown of 12 stars. She was with child, and she cried out in pain, laboring to give birth. Another sign was seen in heaven. Behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and on his heads 7 crowns. His tail drew 1/3 of the stars of the sky and threw them to the earth. The dragon stood before the woman who was about to give birth, so that when she gave birth, she might devour her child. She gave birth to a son, a male child, who is to rule all the nations with a rod of iron. Her child was caught up to God and to his throne. The woman fled into the wilderness, where she has a place prepared by God, that there they may nourish her 1,260 days. There was a war in the sky. Michael and his angels made war on the dragon, and the dragon and his angels made war. They didn't prevail. No place was found for them any more in heaven. The great dragon was thrown down, the old serpent, he who is called the devil and Satan, the deceiver of the whole world. He was thrown down to the earth, and his angels were thrown down with him. I heard a loud voice in heaven saying, "Now the salvation, the power, and the kingdom of our God and the authority of his Christ has come. For the accuser of our brothers has been thrown down, who accuses them before our God day and night. They overcame him because of the Lamb's blood and because of the word of their testimony. They didn't love their life, even to death. Therefore, rejoice, heavens, and you who dwell in them. Woe to the earth and to the sea, because the devil has gone down to you, having great wrath, knowing that he has but a short time." When the dragon saw that he was thrown down to the earth, he persecuted the woman who gave birth to the male child. 2 wings of the great eagle were given to the woman, that she might fly into the wilderness to her place, so that she might be nourished for a times, and half a time, from the face of the serpent. The serpent spewed water out of his mouth after the woman like a river, that he might cause her to be carried away by the stream. The earth helped the woman, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed up the river, which the dragon spewed out of his mouth. The dragon grew angry with the woman, and went away to make war with the rest of her offspring, who keep God's commandments and hold Jesus' testimony. Well, I would agree with that very much. That last verse, 17, the dragon grew angry with the woman and went away to make war with the rest of her offspring, who keep God's commandments and hold Jesus' testimony. It is a battle down here, I'll tell you what. So, thank you so much for coming by today. I want to encourage the newer viewers that if you are just hopping into this channel on day 316, please don't worry about it, that you've missed 315 days and you might think, oh, what's the point? The point is that you start today. Your first day is day 316, and when we get to 365 and we're all done, you're just going to continue on with day 1, 2, 3, 4 until your last day will be 315. Okay? Please don't worry about it. It's all good. This is a no stress channel, and my house, my rules. All right? Come on back for tomorrow, which will be day 317. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.